Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Wise. Today we are at the next topic, middle games positions explained, and we are at the 10th position. So today we have got this position with white to play, and we can see that white is very well placed. His activity is more, pieces are more ahead and they are near towards the black king. Black's queen is bit away from the defense and both rooks are still undeveloped. Same we can say about white, but white is able to castle in one move and he will be able to connect his rooks. Let's proceed with the moves here. White has got 2 or 3 nice candidates. One, queen a4 check. Second, queen f5. Third, rook f1 eyeing the f7 square. And fourth, very important, nf7, trying to break the castle and attack the rook on h8. So let's proceed one by one and see what works here. After queen a4 check b5, we see that the attack just ends. The queen is attacked, the queen has to go away, and after the queen moves, pawn takes the knight. Very similar play happens after queen f5, if de5, rook f1, trying for queen f7 check. But still black can improve his play. He can just improve the piece queen to c4. After queen f7 check, king d8, queen f8, rook f8, rook f8, and we see that the king has got place on the d7 square. It's reasonably placed. After rook into 8, there is queen d5 or queen e4 check, which gives black somewhat better position. So white went into the line knight f7. What white realized here is the fact that the f8 bishop is defender of e7 and he wants to destroy that bishop. So without wasting time, he wants to get his rook on h1. So after knight f7, king f7, rook f1 check, this is the main idea. And we note that actually black has nothing better than queen f1 when giving up the queen and white gets a winning position. So in that line there is no forced mate. But after knight f7, if rook g8, then queen h7, and we see that the rook is getting trapped. And again after king f7 there is rf1 check. So to save the rook, queen f1 would be forced and white would win. So knight f7, if rook g8, queen h7, king f7, only way to save the rook. Now comes rook f1 check, when queen f1 is forced, and after king f1 we see that still black position is close to losing. Soon the king will move and rook gives check from f1 and g8 rook will still hang. Let us get down to the calculation why white played nf7, what he had seen further. So after knight f7, king f7, white saw that after rook f1 check, if king goes to g8, then queen e6 is instantly checkmate. King has to go to e8 when he is able to destroy this bishop with the move rook f8 check. Bishop is the defender of e7. White has 2 attacks on the e7 square. And after rook f8, queen e7 mates. But there is the line king f8, to which he uses a typical mating pattern. King on e8, bishop on e7 and white queen on e6 can create a mating pattern which white used in the game. Let's see, there are 2 ways to win from that position. So after knight f7, king f7, rook f1 check, king e8, rook f8, king f8, 1, queen e7 check, kg8, queen e6, king f8, be7, ke8, bringing the position of the bishop and queen pattern where we can wait this king on the g8, force him to g8, or we can force him to c8, depending on which discovered check we are using. We'll come to that position, or else he could play direct b7 and get to the pattern. So let's play the moves now. nf7, kf7, rook f1 check. So king e8, if king g8 we saw queen e6 mates. Now comes rook f8 check. Now if rook into f8, then queen e7 mates. So king f8 forced, and in the game white played bishop e7, but let me show you the pattern. After the moves queen e7, kg8, queen e6 check, king f8, b7 check, ke8. Now depending on which square black is not having support, we can push the black king. So for instance, if we want to mate the king on g8, so after bf6 we see that king f8 forced, when queen e7 check, kg8, queen g7 mates. That is if g7 is unprotected. If he wants to mate on c7, he can do that with the move bd6, kd8, queen e7 check, king c8 and queen c7 mate. In this case, c7 and g7 both were unsupported, so this worked. In the game, white played bishop e7 because he saw that after kf7, queen e6 check, we are reaching the same position, and after the move king e8 directly, then in the game he played bishop d6 check because he doesn't want the king to go to g6. Now if king f7, then queen e6 mates, forced k d7 or d8 to both queen e7 check, k c8 and q c7 checkmate. But we can note that here white allowed black with more variations, but in the move queen e7 there were lesser variations or options for black. I hope you are finding these lessons useful. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.